Hi, scary lovers. I hope you enjoy today's story. Please like and subscribe if you're into scary stories like me. The wind howled through the trees as Alexa hiked deeper into the forest, determined to reach the old abandoned cabin her friends had told her about. They had dared her to spend the night there, claiming it was haunted. She laughed off their stories, but as dusk fell, an uneasy feeling settled over her. As she approached the cabin, its silhouette loomed against the darkening sky. The door creaked open as if inviting her in. Inside, the air was stale, filled with the scent of mildew and decay. Shadows danced on the walls as she flicked on her flashlight, illuminating the dusty furniture and cobwebs. Suddenly, a cold draft swept through the room, and she heard a low whisper echoing from the corner. "Alexa!" It sent chills down her spine, heart racing. She turned the beam of her flashlight toward the sound, but there was nothing there. Deciding to explore, she ascended the rickety staircase, each step creaking ominously underfoot. At the top, she found a small room with a single window. As she approached, she felt a strange sensation, as if someone were watching her. She quickly glanced back down the stairs but saw only darkness. That's when she heard it. A loud bang from downstairs. Panic surged through her, and she stumbled back, nearly tripping over her own feet. "Maybe it's just the wind," she whispered to herself, trying to calm her racing heart. But deep down, she knew it wasn't just the wind. Gathering her courage, Alexa peered out the window. The forest stretched endlessly, shadows creeping closer. Suddenly, a figure darted past the trees, pale and twisted. Fear gripped her. It was too late to turn back. She had to find a way out. Rushing down the stairs, she felt an overwhelming sense of dread. The whispers grew louder, filling her mind with an unsettling chorus. "Alexa, help us!" She stumbled through the cabin, searching for a way out. The front door was now locked tight, as if something were keeping her inside. Desperately, she pounded on the door, but it wouldn't budge. Just then, the whispers turned into anguished cries, echoing around her. "Leave this place." They seemed to be warning her, urging her to escape. Alexa backed away, her heart pounding. The air grew colder, and she could see her breath fogging in front of her. In a surge of adrenaline, she darted toward the back door, but it too was locked. Frantically, she searched for another exit, and in the corner of her eye, she noticed a trapdoor partially hidden beneath a tattered rug. With no time to lose, she yanked it open and descended into the darkness below. The basement was damp and filled with old relics. As she moved deeper inside, the cries faded, replaced by a sinister silence. But just as she thought she was safe, she heard footsteps above her, heavy and deliberate. Someone or something was searching for her. Alexa's instincts kicked in, and she began to crawl through the narrow passageways of the basement, looking for a way out. The air felt thick, suffocating. She finally found a small window at the far end, partially obscured by overgrown vines. With every ounce of strength, she pushed against the window, and to her relief, it creaked open. Just as she began to climb through, the footsteps stopped. A shadow loomed above her, blocking the light. "Alexa," the voice whispered, chilling her to the bone. With a final push, she squeezed through the window and tumbled. As Alexa squeezed through the narrow window, she landed in the underbrush outside. Relief flooded her for a moment, but as she turned to flee, she froze. The air felt thick with dread. The whispers from the cabin were now replaced by an unsettling silence, and she realized she wasn't alone. A figure stood at the edge of the clearing, half hidden in the shadows, watching her. It was a woman, her face pale and gaunt, hair hanging in matted strands. "Alexa," she called softly, her voice echoing with a sorrow that sent chills down Alexa's spine. Fear gripped her heart, but something compelled her to stay. "Who are you?" she demanded, her voice trembling. "I was like you once," the woman replied, stepping into the faint moonlight. "Curious, brave, until I learned the truth." "What truth?" Alexa took a cautious step back, her instincts screaming at her to run. "The cabin is a trap, meant to keep us bound. I tried to escape, but they won't let me go. They won't let you go either." The woman's eyes were hollow, filled with a mixture of despair and urgency. "I don't want to stay here," Alexa shouted, her panic rising. "I want to leave. You can't just run away," the woman said, her voice rising with desperation. "You have to confront them. You have to free us." Before Alexa could respond, the ground trembled beneath her feet. The whispers surged again, louder, more insistent. They filled her mind, drowning out her thoughts. Shadows began to swirl around the woman, pulling her back into the darkness. "Please, you have to help us," the woman cried, but the shadows engulfed her, leaving only her haunting plea echoing in the night. In that moment, clarity washed over Alexa. She realized that running wouldn't save her. She needed to face whatever dark force haunted the cabin. Taking a deep breath, she turned back toward the cabin, determination burning in her chest. Inside, the air was charged with energy, the whispers swirling like a storm. Alexa shouted into the darkness, "I'm not afraid of you." The shadows coalesced, forming a figure that loomed before her, an amalgamation of all the lost souls trapped within. It advanced slowly, a cold chill emanating from its form. "Why have you come back?" it hissed, its voice a cacophony of the others' anguished cries. "To set you free," Alexa shouted, finding strength in her resolve. "You won't keep me or anyone else here." The figure paused, and the whispers quieted, as if considering her words. "Many have tried. None have succeeded. I'm not like them," she declared fiercely. "I choose to fight back." Summoning every ounce of courage, Alexa took a step forward, confronting the dark entity. She focused on the light of hope that flickered within her, a reminder of the life outside this place. "You have no power over me." In that instant, a surge of energy pulsed through the room. The shadows writhed and twisted, pushing back against her resolve. But Alexa held her ground, channeling her will into a beam of light that pierced through the darkness. The figure shrieked, the sound a chilling blend of anger and pain. The whispers grew frantic, swirling around her like a tempest. But Alexa's light began to expand, illuminating the cabin and revealing the faces of those trapped within. The lost souls, their eyes pleading for release. With a final, resounding cry, Alexa directed the light toward the entity. It screamed, and in a blinding flash, the shadows dissipated, dissolving into the air like smoke. The souls, now free, surrounded her, their expressions transforming from despair to gratitude. As the first light of dawn broke through the trees, Alexa found herself standing alone in the cabin. The oppressive darkness lifted. She had faced the fears and freed the trapped souls, and in doing so, she had reclaimed her own. Stepping outside, the morning sun warmed her face. She breathed in the fresh air, knowing she had escaped not just the cabin, but the hold of death itself. The memories of the whispers would linger, but now they felt like echoes of courage rather than chains of despair. With newfound strength, Alexa walked back toward the village, ready to share her story and ensure that the darkness would never return. She searched for her friends, but she couldn't find them. It was like they just vanished in the air. After a few days, when she still didn't find them, she was going to do some research in the town's library, and what she learned that day would change her life forever. In an old archive, she found pictures of the cabin in the woods. She couldn't believe her eyes what she was seeing. There on the pictures were her friends. But how could this be? The picture was taken more than 200 years ago. When she read the text by the picture, everything was falling in place. The Crow family in the picture was known for doing deals with the devil himself. Folklore said they made a deal for eternal life. In place, they would have to bring offers every year. Alexa learned this wasn't just an old wives' tale. And by breaking the souls free, the deal was broken, so the Crow family, who she knew as her friends, were no more. She had ended their eternal life. Shivers run down her spine when she realized she was this year's offer. But she was glad to still be here, able to tell this story, and not locked up in the cabin with the other souls. Thanks for listening to today's story. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below what kind of stories you would like to hear more from. Tomorrow I start with my Halloween specials, 1 English in 3 parts, and 1 Dutch in 2 parts. Please like and subscribe if you're into scary stories like me. Stay safe and I'll be back tomorrow.